Last episode, we built a transition module between the flower forest and the snowy taiga. It featured a beach, a river, and a small extension of a plains biome. Insignificant though the module was when isolated, it filled in the important role of giving some much-needed breathing room between these two highly detailed modules. Today, however, we're going to switch it up pretty much entirely, and we're going to build a mesa biome. Today's module will be bigger in both its footprint and its height than any other module. There's no time to waste, so let's get to it. Yeah, this is a big boy. It's hard to do the mesa biome any justice by scaling it down any further, so I decided to go all in. I'm working digitally, so it's not like anything is limiting me. I went for a 1x2 chunk footprint, which is 16x32 blocks in Minecraft. You don't usually find Mesa Badlands in Minecraft without being surrounded by some good old-fashioned Minecraft desert, so I built up a small segment of a desert that should hopefully ease the transition into the mesa a little more. Well, it's not actually that small. It takes up about half a chunk, which is the size of the first module we built. However, it consists of fewer details with only some dead bushes and some cacti. The cacti design, although similar to the old cactus design that LEGO put out, it's a little different because it uses snot bricks instead of brackets to keep the cactus to a 1x1 cube scale. But you didn't click on this video to see a desert. Well, I mean, you kind of did, but not this gross sandy one. You wanted a gross sandy red one. So I started making the mesa by building up this terracotta spike. There's some cool color usage in here. Medium nougat for regular terracotta, light nougat for white terracotta, bright light orange for yellow terracotta, and of course the dark orange for this red sand. Following the in-game generation patterns, I covered up some of the regular terracotta with sand red at the base of the spike. Alright, enough with the baby spikes, time for the big boy. This spike will be by far the tallest point in both the module and the display so far. Here we're going to use some sand red to look like gray terracotta. It doesn't look like gray terracotta in the digital interface, but it will look like it once it's rendered. How about some brown terracotta too? We'll bring that up by 2 blocks. A nice stripe of white terracotta will help to balance things out a little, so let's build up one of those. Let's give some breathing room now and do 2 layers of regular terracotta. Alright, now it's time for some red. Red terracotta isn't quite this vibrant in the game, but there were no other better alternative brick colors, so this is what I went with. Let's stack on some yellow terracotta on top of that as well. I don't want to put the regular terracotta next, so I put a layer of orange terracotta now, which looks the same as the red sand because it uses the same color. Alright, how about some more gray terracotta? We're still using that very rare but very good looking sand red. And how about yet another layer of white terracotta, also using the uncommon light nougat. I think it's time to finally top this thing off, so let's wrap it up with some good old-fashioned regular terracotta. See how fun it is to make these things? All these weird and unusual colors which I have an endless supply of in my digital world. Before moving on to the next spike, I needed to mellow out the terrain, which I left unfinished down at the surface. It's just a bunch of red sand, nothing too special. I wanted the last spike to be just a little taller than the shortest spike, so that the big spike would stand out more. So I didn't make it very tall, but I made sure for it to follow the same stripe pattern as the tall spike, because spikes next to each other in-game actually do this. And then this guy, Vasco del Lama, suggested I build a mineshaft. Well, at this point, there wasn't anywhere to actually put a mineshaft, but fortunately, there was a bit of a workaround. You see, mineshafts in the Mesa Badlands have a tendency to generate higher up, and occasionally they'll even spawn directly on the surface. So I built a stretch of 4 blocks of rails with a minecart chest on it. This is the kind of thing you could actually find in-game. Hopefully there's gold in that chest. It's a common mineral in the Mesa biome. Speaking of gold, I realized that about this point I had forgotten to include it in the module. There wasn't really anywhere easy to include it at this point, so I decided to just build up an entirely new biome at the back of the module, the savanna, another warm and dry biome. Hey, there's the gold. One vein is visible from the surface, and the other 2 veins are hidden underneath the savanna. The savanna features some interesting color usage too. For example, the grass uses olive green, a color which does not have a 2x2 tile in production, so I had to use a 2x4 tile instead. I added 1 acacia tree using old gray for the trunk, and once again I used olive green for the leaves. Both colors were pretty limiting, and there were some pretty insane techniques used to get this thing done, but it looks pretty sweet. After mellowing out the terrain and populating it with cacti and dead bushes, there was only one thing left to do. Add some mobs. I first made a special variant of the wolf, the spotted wolf, which spawns in the savanna in Minecraft. I also tackled the armadillo, a particularly difficult one to create in LEGO. In-game, the armadillo is quite small compared to the player, but it's hard to capture that level of detail whilst also keeping the scale accurate. I decided to compromise and make the armadillo a decent amount bigger than it's supposed to be. It looks so cute though. You'll notice I built this module in a different file than the main display. That was to keep the lag down as I built it, but now it's time to import it into the main display. The module doesn't actually connect anywhere yet, but it will eventually. For now, it's just going to hang out here, which is where it's going to rest once the gaps are filled in. It's rendering time, gang. I hope you like this longer episode with the bigger module. Next episode, although not quite as dramatic, will still be pretty cool with the addition of the Cherry Grove. That's coming next week, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.